The rain fell hard against the windows of General Hospital, streaking the glass like tears that refused to stop. Britt Westbourne stood alone in the locker room, staring at her reflection. Her once sharp eyes were dull now, rimmed with exhaustion and regret. The woman in the mirror barely resembled the confident doctor who once strode through these halls like she owned them. Tonight, Britt had officially hit rock bottom. Her hands trembled as she opened her locker. Inside sat a white coat she hadn't worn in days, suspended pending investigation, pending answers she didn't have, pending a future that suddenly felt terrifyingly empty. The hum of hospital machinery echoed faintly through the walls, a reminder that life continued without her, indifferent to her unraveling. Earlier that evening, she'd made a choice she couldn't take back. It started with a drink, then another, then the sharp words she hurled at a nurse who didn't deserve it. Security had escorted Britt out like a criminal, and the look of disappointment in her colleagues' eyes cut deeper than any punishment. Now, alone, Britt slid down onto the cold tile floor, hugging her knees. For the first time in years, she let herself cry. Not the elegant tears she'd mastered in public, but messy, gasping sobs born from fear. She had spent her whole life fighting, clawing her way forward, but tonight she had nothing left to fight with. Across town, the mood was just as tense, if not more so. Michael Corinthos sat rigidly in a stark interrogation room, his jaw clenched as a detective paced slowly in front of him. The overhead light cast harsh shadows across his face, making him look older, harder. "You're telling me you had no idea the shipment was rerouted?" the detective asked, stopping abruptly. Michael met his gaze, calm but clearly rattled. "That's what I'm telling you. I don't run my business that way." The detective scoffed. "Funny, because every lead points straight back to you." Michael's fists tightened. He was used to suspicion, his last name guaranteed that, but this was different. Someone had framed him, and they'd done it expertly. Documents had been altered, phone records manipulated, every step designed to make him look guilty. And the worst part? Someone he trusted had to be behind it. As the interrogation dragged on, Michael's thoughts drifted to the people he loved, his family, his child, and what would happen if this went sideways. He had spent years trying to build something clean, something better than the chaos he was raised in. Now it was all slipping through his fingers. Back at General Hospital, Britt eventually pulled herself together. She wiped her face, stood on shaky legs, and glanced once more at her reflection. "This isn't the end," she whispered, though she wasn't sure she believed it. She left the locker room and wandered into the quiet corridors, drawn to the place she had avoided all night, the ICU waiting area. That's where she spotted an all too familiar figure, Brad, seated alone, staring at the floor. He looked up, surprised. "Britt, I heard." "Don't," she said softly. "I don't need pity tonight." Brad hesitated, then nodded. "You okay?" Britt almost laughed at the question. Almost. "No," she admitted, "but I will be, eventually." Something passed between them then, an unspoken understanding of mistakes, of consequences, of trying to survive the fallout. Britt sat beside him, and for the first time all night, she didn't feel completely alone. Meanwhile, the interrogation finally ended with no arrest, but no relief. Michael stepped outside into the cool night air, his phone buzzing with missed calls. He ignored them all. His instincts screamed that this wasn't over, not by a long shot. Someone had made their move, and now it was his turn to respond. He looked up at the hospital sign glowing in the distance, unaware that Britt was just inside, fighting her own demons. Two lives unraveling in parallel, bound by the same town, the same secrets, and the same looming truth. In Port Charles, rock bottom was never the end. It was just the beginning.